So I'm back. I was gonna wait until I stopped progressing forward, just so I could show you guys what kind of crazy shenanigans I've got going, and such. But as you can plainly tell just by looking up here, I've been doing a lot of very short ascensions. That is, I've been ascending every couple of, like, every other day. So I've been putting a lot of souls into my, I have this, which is where a lot of my souls are coming from, and Borb, I suppose. I now have a clan. That's just me right now. I'll fight this. Oh, well, that didn't last very long. So these are, so the first thing I have to do is I'm going to have to salvage my junk pile. I have put a lot of time into this. For those of you who are not familiar, that E70 means you have to move the decimal point 70 points over that way. I have been now, here's something that I'm not entirely sure on. I don't know if I can get admin to be more than 75%. And I don't know if I can get Bubos above 50%. Or if I can get... I think I can get Dogcog's hero hiring level up cost up higher. But I am not entirely sure on that. Dora, I don't really think I really need to race her. And I don't think I need to raise Fortuna either. Kuma Wakamaru, I'd like to get up to 9, so that way I only have to go through one enemy per area. But, oh, and there's Revolk, who, he's the reason I have so many of these. Oh, and Vogger, I don't know if you can get above 75% with him. I'd like to say yes, but honestly I really don't know. There's really no advantage of me putting more levels in right now, because honestly I'm planning on ascending, which is the main point of this video. I was going to show you, I was going to have you guys see how my starts go because of all of those levels that I put into my ancients. I move fast. I move really fast. I move so darn fast. You guys who might not be all that familiar with this, you can get some really fast things going. Let's see if I can beat this guy. I'll ascend afterwards. Otherwise, I'll ascend. I think I can beat him. Yeah, I'm totally gonna beat him. When the bar reaches the halfway point, which is right between the skull's eyes, that's... So I'll grab this. I'm quite far. My gilding is pretty absurd because of how far I get. It's just a lot. So I'm going to ascend, and you guys will get to see what kind of crazy stuff I get to do. So, we'll click that, and then we'll go down all the way to Alabaster and max him. Well, put as many levels as I can into him. Then we will go back to Abaddon, get the Dark Ritual, and Aphrodite and Chinatobe, so I can get Reload and Energize. We'll grab that. I lose actually a lot of my DPS, technically, but this is a good time for me to sit back relax and chat just for a moment. Transcending is really expensive. I don't really have a game plan for that at all. So you might be wondering how I'm getting all of these levels put into it. If you highlight over them, you can do 10x, you can do 1, 10x, 25, 100, or 999, which I think at this point, where's King Midas? I'll just grab all of his. I tend to only put in 100 into each of my non-important heroes right away. You saw at the very beginning of the video that once I reach a certain point, I just stuff as many levels onto them as I can. There's really no advantage to that. Honestly, when you're putting levels into your heroes, you really only need whatever will get you going. And if I wanted to optimize my DPS, I would consolidate all of my gilded bonuses onto a single hero. But I don't do that because since Transcending removes all of your gilded bonuses, I just haven't felt the need, to be honest. Just max them so I can buy all my upgrades and just watch it go. I do have to figure out a way of speeding this up, and the fastest way that I can think of speeding this up is to reduce the amount of enemies that I have to go through by 1. So it's only 1 enemy a floor. But that does cost an awful lot of hero souls. Right now I put in 1,655 levels into Kuma Wakamaru, who, he's the reason I only have to go through 2 enemies at a time. However, leveling him up is incredibly insane. And it says that even if I put 1 level into him, it's not going to reduce it anymore at the moment. Because there's diminishing returns, which means you get less back each time. And so once I reach that point where I get these diminishing returns, each level will grant less of a bonus. And the less bonuses I get, the more expensive they become, because each hero soul is worth even less. So once that's the advantages of the the ancients that are still getting levels put into them. So Argive, I can keep putting more levels into him. He increases my damage. I can put more levels into Libertas and Mammon and Mimsy. They increase my gold gain. Although Libertas doesn't really add a whole lot. I'd rather get more DPS. Morgulus is actually really bad. I used to get him all the time when I just had a couple extra hero souls, but now I'm saving up hero souls to try and buff, I guess, Dogcog and Kuma Wakamaru. I don't know if I can level up Vogger anymore. He might have one of those diminishing return rates, so it's gonna be like 100 levels to get like 75.1% skill cooldown or something. Solomon is always a good one. He's the reason why I'm getting so many hero souls. Well, one of the reasons. Cyalatus is good because you just idle with it. Mammon is good because he increases the gold that you get, including when you're when you don't have the game running. Of the ancients, personally, I think Fandoris is amazing looking and sounding. Since extra Transcendent Power, Transcendent Power increases the number of hero souls you get. But technically, Ponyboy also increases the number of hero souls you get because he increases the effectiveness of Solomon, who increases the amount of hero souls you get. And Borb increases the amount of transcending ancient souls you get. So you get more ancient souls when you put levels into him. And ancient souls are how you feed the rest of these guys. Chorgoloth is... I put a whole bunch of levels into him because I got sick and tired of waiting for so long on leveling up my ancients again. Because when you transcend, you lose your ancients. And Xyloquil, I put 10 levels into him just because my main source of movement, after my first click in like once an hour or Dark Ritual, almost all of my DPS comes from the fact that Cyalatus has buffed my damage to unusually high levels, and it works out really well for me. Being idle can eventually be really hard on your computer. I have an old computer. My computer is 5 years old. I'm going to be getting a new one probably later this summer. Something that's actually good. I haven't really gone into this much, but after level 200, when you start putting in 25 levels into your heroes, their damage is multiplied by 4. And this is actually important because now you'll notice that Gog is dealing 100% of my DPS. If I go all the way back up to the little tree beast up here, I can max him out to 700 or 7,582, and he's now dealing 0.3%. However, at the moment it's not the most efficient looking, but if I put another level into him, I'm now dealing 1.22, and every time I put 25 levels into him, his DPS goes up a lot faster, because every time he gets 4x DPS, he's becoming 4 times as powerful as he was before. And it doesn't take long before you realize that it's at the point where I'm at, but eventually where you may become, if you're not at this speed. It's more about what hero you can put levels into. Naturally, Wepawet is always going to do the most damage. And the more damage you do, the farther you get, and the farther you get, the more gold you get, and the more gold you get, the more heroes you can buy, and the more heroes you buy, the farther you can get, and it's kind of a spiral that it's technically a really brilliant model that they worked with. This game is a little on the old side now, technically. Not all that old. It's like 3 years old, I think. This is my Steam version, which you can get for free. And I don't usually have any signs of stopping until about 28,000, and the amount of hero souls that I collect is a lot, but it's more that I just wanted to show you guys that it really is possible to get very far in a very short amount of time, and it just takes a lot of time to get there initially, and the farther you get, the farther you can get. I know that doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense logically. The farther you get, the farther you get. But in this and other clicker games where you ascend, or in this case transcend, you set your progress back to get further. So while I could just ascend very quickly all the time, I wouldn't really get a whole lot of souls. There are ways of upping the amount of souls that you get. I've probably spent enough on that for the time being. I assume. The next time you see me, actually, I'll probably be playing something else. Not that I'm giving up on Clicker Heroes, just that I'll be playing other games. And I'll probably try to upload this video about 2 p.m. 2 p.m. on Friday? The date, July 1st, maybe? I don't know. That's might be the one that I go for. At the moment, my apartment is empty. There's only me in here. Which isn't a bad thing. It's nice to have your own place for a while. But yeah, I think that's the end of this episode, kind of. I will stop the video and probably come back about 10 minutes from now, just to let you know how far I can get in about 10 minutes. So, yeah. There will be a shortcut. Okay, it's been a little bit more than the 10 minutes that I said it was going to be. As you can tell, my Dark Ritual, which has a 2-hour cooldown, which I reduced to 1 hour, is almost done. And I was just going to come back and show you that in about an hour I can get to about 7,000. I could have gone a little bit faster, I suppose, but not important. So I'm going to do that, and then probably just sort of show you the kind of crazy stuff that I've been doing a bit. I have upped my levels a bit, and this will actually probably progress me to, I'd say about 12,000. I could just stop putting levels into things and should be able to make it to 12,000 pretty easy. But I thought that you'd like to take a look at that, since you've seen how high I can get, and now you kind of have an idea of how quickly it takes me to get back up there. It does slow down a little bit right towards the end, and that's mainly because I don't always put all my levels in right away. If I'm actively putting my leveling up my heroes, then there's no stopping. I just go straight up to whatever I was at before. But that's usually pretty rare, mostly because I get kind of bored. I go off and I do other things. I watch videos when I don't show any obvious progression stuff here where I'm needed. And that's kind of the way that an idle clicker game should go. Anyways, I think that's about everything for this video. I'm going to start recording more stuff. Probably some Minecraft things. That might be fun. But, yeah, that's about it for this one. Goodbye!